Hi everybody, and welcome to the class called The Key. And if you're not sure which one that is, it looks like this. Lots of real pastel-y greens, and up in the top right hand corner it says The Key. Bottom right hand corner it says The Key. So there's lots of pieces to punch out with this. So if you haven't done that, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through all the steps to put this together. And once you get page 1 and 2 put together, pages 3, 4, 5, and 6 are super simple. So our goal is always that if we have more than 2 pages, we will do 2 pages in class, and then we will save the other 2 to 4 pages for you to do at another time. That just gives you a lot more value for your class kit. So with that said, some of the powder puff chalking ink colors that we suggested were Mermaid, and that's in, I believe, last year's box, or maybe the year before. But any kind of a jade mermaid kind of color would work really well with this one. And also Blueberry Bliss, that's in our new box this year. And Pumpkin Pie, so several different colors. Along with those, if you might have Tiramisu or Butter Pecan, that's in the new box. Any of the soft yellows would work really well. Also, there's greens in this. There is a new mint chip that would work really well, and it looks like this. Let's just take a little quick look and see what that's going to look like on to white paper. All of our inks this year are from our ice cream collection. So look how pretty that is. So if you'd like to use one of the greens, that would work really well. Another green is Light Moss. That works great for these colors right here. So choose some colors. Even if it's not the ones we suggested, you probably have some that will work. If you have never chalked before, I'll do a little bit of chalking as we go along, but my project here is just for sample only, so I want to make sure that you get all the basics. And I won't chalk absolutely everything. So if you need to stop the video at any time or go back, feel free to do that. So I'm going to take the next probably half an hour or more going through the steps that it takes to put this together. So with that said, the first things that you need to look for, you have, and we can do pages 1 and 2 for the first 3 or 4 steps all at the same time with just one little variation, and I'll show you what that is. So you have a sheet of die cut strips. Looks like this. It would have had 2 pieces that are 7/8 and then a bunch of 1/2-inch strips. So locate your 2 pieces that are 7/8 by 12 inches long. And again, you'll have 2 of those. If you want to chalk up those edges, feel free to do that. Blueberry Bliss would be really pretty on that, so give it a try. Anytime that you are chalking up edges, on a long strip like this, and I'm not sure if you can see it if I pull it off the edge of my table, but I like to pull it clear to the edge of my workspace, and then take my chalk ink, and because there's this nice support behind it, just run my chalk ink along the edge, all the way up and down 2 or 3 times until you get the color that you want. So that's just one way to add some color quickly to your edges. So locate these 2 pieces. And what you're going to do with these 2 pieces, they're 7/8 by 12 inches long. You're going to adhere 1 to page 1 and 1 to page 2. And that is flush to the very top of the page. I'm going to go ahead and just lightly attach those. And again, I won't be attaching everything with a lot of tape because mine, again, is just a sample. So flush to the top of page 1 and page 2. And we have those 2 strips out of the way. And everything else in that little die cut are 1/2-inch strips. Okay, now you're going to locate 2 pieces of paper that look like this. They're, I believe they're 6 by 12, and they're kind of an aqua color with little white dots. And they have map paper on the other side, okay? So 2 pieces that look like this. This would be a great piece of paper to add. You know, I didn't even suggest Bermuda, but that's a really good color. Let's see if I have that here. And not that one. Or Baja Blue. That's another really good one. Here's Bermuda right here. Let's try it. So it's a great color for this aqua colored. It's kind of a turquoisey aqua as you add it to the edges of your paper. So just lightly go over the edges. I like to do the corners just a little bit more than along the edges. But use Bermuda if you choose. And again, there is also the Jade or the Mermaid. That one would work. Any of those would work really well. Okay, now you're going to add these to your page about 3 inches down from the top of the paper. Now the trick here is before you glue anything down, this right here is going to be a pocket. And let me show you the finished page so you can kind of see what that means. And in the pocket, we're building a little book, okay? We're going to build that right off the bat here as soon as we get more things in place. We are building a little book that has 3 swivel pages that will house photos, okay? And then once we get that put together, that will tuck down in this pocket. So it's really important that you leave this space open on page 1. Now when we get to page 2, you can glue it down solid. So 3 inches down, keep this, the entire left half open at the top for your, to make your pocket. So you're going to add adhesive on the left side, the right side, the bottom, and just a little bit here on the right-hand side of the top. And then it goes on about 3 inches. So I'm saying about 3 inches, and it goes right here. So for those of you who don't do abouts, it's 3 inches. Okay, and then you're going to do the exact same thing on page 2, but you don't have to worry about building a pocket on page 2. You will just adhere it down, and by laying these 2 pieces side by side, you can see where 3 inches down will be exactly the same as page 1, so that they match. Okay, so you have 2 aqua colored 6 by 12 pieces. One is a pocket here. And now you have, like I said, you have a whole sheet of 1/2 inch pieces that look like this. You're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2 inch pieces. So I'm going to tear those out, punch these out. There's 1, 2, 3. Then save the rest of the 1/2 inch pieces for pages 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now keep in mind our goal is to only get through pages 1 and 2. That's where all the bells and whistles are. The rest of the pages, once you get all these pieces added to page 1 and 2, it's going to be super simple to finish out the rest of your kit, your 4 pages. We always leave the easiest ones for the last. So here we go. Chalk up those edges if you want to, and again, pull it to the edge of your workspace. That's always kind of nice to be able to have that solid surface to work on. And when you go to add the 1/2 inch strip to the aqua piece, again, keep in mind that it's a pocket. So what I'm going to do is add it right over the top of your aqua paper, okay? Right over the top, with the top of the striped strip flush to the top of your aqua paper. So therefore you still have a pocket, okay? And the same thing over here. You're going to add some adhesive, chalk it up if you want to, and this will go right over the top of your aqua paper, and the top of the striped strip will be flush to the top of your aqua paper. Okay, now you have 2 of those out of the way. Down here, it's a little bit different when you get to the bottom. You're going to need another stripe to strip, but you also need this piece of border Lots of pretty leaves in this border. Okay, and what I would suggest is lay this out on your page, knowing that now this strip is not going to go over the top of your aqua. It's going to glue flush to the bottom of your aqua piece. So the striped strip is going to be butted right up against the bottom. The top of the striped strip butted up against the bottom of your aqua paper. And the reason why I had you just lay out that green piece, because you want that strip that's holding all these leaves together to not show, but you want the leaves to show. So once you lay that out, lay your striped strip up on top, and then take a look here and see that there is about 1/4 of an inch gap between the top of this green strip and the bottom of your aqua strip. Now you can do that a couple of ways. If you want to go ahead and add it to your striped strip, you can go ahead and do that and then glue it down. Or you can add it to, and I'm just going to add it right to my page, totally up to you. About 1/4 of an inch down, okay? It looks like this. And you will do this on both pages. So get your green leaf pattern border on, and then make sure you add your striped strip flush to the bottom of your aqua colored paper. Do the same on page 2. And I know I'm going a little bit fast for you to keep up, but the nice thing about a video is you are able to stop it whenever you want, or just go back through the whole entire thing. But I don't want you waiting on me, so I'm going to just keep working on this. Whoops, I got this a little bit up too far. Forgot I needed to leave that space. So there's your 1/4 inch space. And then the 1/2 inch striped strip goes right over the top and butts up against the bottom of your aqua paper. Mine's not perfect, but yours will be. Okay, so now that we have all the basics on, I'm going to move this aside for just a minute, and I'm going to show you the pieces that we'll need next. All of these frames and tag frames and mats that go with them, really confusing unless we break it down into little parts, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So for page 1, you have 3 windows with little tabs at the top. Okay, they look like this, so you're going to locate those. 3 windows with tabs at the top. And again, I'm going to show you what did I do with my... Okay, this is what we're working towards right now, and this is the frames with the mats. Right now we're just locating frames, okay? So locate these 3 frames. There's a light green pattern, a dark green pattern, and a light green pattern. They all 3 have a tab at the top. All 3 have a hole at the top. Now, for some contrast, we're going to add mats to the back side, okay? Now here is a dark green. That's going to go behind the light green pattern, and you match up the holes. Now as you go, I would suggest not gluing these down around the frame part. We'll attach them all together with a brad, and that way you can go back much easier and add pictures. So the second one is a light pattern green, and that goes behind the dark green frame. And the third one for the book on page 1 that goes down in the pocket, dark green mat light green frame. Okay, so you're going to assemble all three of these pieces. I'm going to take them apart really quick here so you can see again what we're working with. For the mats that go on the back, it's dark green, light green, dark green. And the frames that go on the front is light green, dark green, light green. That way you have some contrast when you put these together. So I am just going to add just a little bit of adhesive just to hold them together so I can add a brad. And in your kit you should have a package of brads. And you will put all of these together with the brad, and then once they're hooked together, you can add your frame. If you have pictures ready to go, I would suggest getting them on there right now. If you don't, just be sure that you add just a little adhesive to the back sides of these frames. And then you can easily take them apart or slide a picture up underneath. So there we have three frames for the little book that goes inside the pocket. Now we layered them up like this. 1, 2, 3. And then you add a little, I don't know what I did with my brads, but you add a brad, spread it out in the back, and then you have a book that looks like this, okay? They're all attached. So that's the little book, and that tucks down in once you get it all done. Remember, we made a pocket over here. That tucks down in here, and it stays like this so that you can access this from the top of your page protector. So there's no cutting the page protector or anything. It's just easily accessible, room for more pictures. So we'll set this aside, and then, let's see, I will show you the frames on page 1, and let me show you the sample once more. So we have 3 dark green frames, and we have 3 light green mats that go in the back. Now keep in mind, if you have pictures to go in these frames, don't even bother putting those mats on. They're just kind of make it to look pretty until you get pictures in there. Unless you want to make your picture a little bit smaller so you have also a little bit of a frame of this light green pattern too. So if you have pictures, don't bother with the back because it's going to cover it up anyway. If you want it to look pretty until you get pictures in there, these are the pieces that you're looking for. So here are your frames. They look like this. You have 3 of them for page 1. Looks like this. And then the pieces that came out of the center of some of your frames, actually they came out of the center of your little book, okay? There's 3 of those. And again, you need pictures, and like I said, if you have pictures already, don't even bother putting these backers on because they don't show. But if you want to, they do look kind of pretty until you get your pictures on there. So locate those, and either just put just a little bit of adhesive on or not at all. And then they go on to your background paper like this. So start at one end, the left side, then the right side, and then it's easier to get the one in the center equally in the right spot, okay? So that's where we are right now, and that takes care of all of the book part and the mats and things for page 1, and that takes away a lot of pieces already. So keep this in mind. I'm going to set this aside for just a few minutes, and then we will get page 2 put together as far as little pieces like this, and then we'll go back and I'll show you flowers and the key. Actually, the whole saying says, the key to life is living all that you dream, and this goes across 2 pages. So I'm going to set this one aside, and then we'll come back to it. And page 2, super similar. I am going to show you what we need for page 2. And so if you look at the picture here, you have great instructions, lots of letters that show you which step is next. But if you look at the picture here, you have, on page 2, you have 2 photo mats, and then you have a little book. And that little book is going to go onto the page just a little bit different. So for these 2 photo mats, you're looking for pieces that look like this, okay? You have 2 frames that are light green and 2 mats that go in the back that are dark green. Light green on dark green, and again, if you have photos to put in these already, don't bother with that dark green because you don't really need it. Okay, so those pieces I'm going to set aside. I'll put right there where they belong. And then you have another book to make, and it's pretty much just like page 1, only I believe the colors start out opposite. Okay, so these are the pieces you need, and this is for page 2. This is the little book, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so this one ends up on the outside of the page protector. Same idea as page 1. You have everything matted and pictures in, and you put it together with a brad, only it stays on the outside of the page protector, okay? And then your brad will punch right through the page protector and right through the background page, and it will spread out those little prongs on the back side of the background page. Just make sure you don't go through the back of the page protector, because that defeats the purpose. Then you wouldn't be able to put another layout in there. So that's what we're working towards right now. And that happens to be these 3 pieces. So you start with a light green frame and a dark green mat. Dark green frame, light green mat. Light green frame, dark green mat. Get those glued together. And again, I would suggest just at the top, unless you have pictures all ready to put in those, you stack them up in any order that you choose, but we found if you want every other one, then you need to start with the light green brad and then attach it to your background page, just like I was showing you on the other piece. So really, this is the biggest share of everything that needs to be done on pages 1 and 2. Now it's just up to adding embellishments and words and phrases that finish out the theme. And I'm going to show you a little bit about, okay, we have the key, and you have green, the key, and that will go right on top, okay? And then you have, let's see, let's get this back over here. You have this little piece that says, it would start off by saying the key to life is living all that you. And this little piece, once you get this glued together with a glue pen, the green key on the white key, this will tuck up behind just like this. So it says the key to life is living all that you. And then on page 2, when it's finished, the same thing. The word dream has 2 pieces and it goes on page 2. A couple of little paper embellishments. And then I'm just going to show you a little bit how we would chalk up these flower petals. And again, choose a fun color. I'm going to try mermaid on this just for fun. And when you do flowers with petals like this that are loose and fun and whimsical, let's just lay it really gently in your hands and just start out by just adding some color like this. See how lightly, just put light coats all the way around to begin with. And it does have these tails, so you can get in the cracks and crevices if you want. But I kind of like to just keep going around, and the more you go around on a flower, the more it just automatically goes right into those little cracks and crevices. Okay, see how that works? And fills in space and gets really close right down into the center of that flower. And if you have a flower like this, I'm going to go around once more because I like to get a little more color on the tips of the... So you just put as little or as much as you choose to, and look how fun and easy that is. Okay? And then if you're going to do a layered flower, you might want to change it up a little. Let's see. Let's try a different color. Let's try blue. Let's try Blueberry Bliss just for fun. So here we go. Again, nice, deep, rich country blue. Just getting on those little ends, a bunch on the ends, and then it just gradually works itself right down into the edges of these petals, okay? So as much or as little as you choose on that also. And then you're going to layer it up. So here you have, here's my brads and my buttons. I'm going to put a button on there. And you know these wooden buttons are plain wood color, and if you want you could take something like tiramisu or pumpkin pie. What did our directions recommend? Pumpkin pie. Let's try that. So you can take pumpkin pie and lay out your button and just touch the top a few times. Okay, see how that just changes the color of that button to add some of the same colors that you would have in your on your pages. So there's your little flower and your little button center. How simple was that? So now all you have left to do is layer up your flowers, chalk them all up. You have some little pieces that look like leaves, like this, okay? And those will tuck in behind your flower. I like to get my flower on first. These flowers would be really cute if you pop dotted them underneath, or even at least just pop dot the button. And then you have page 1 is all done, and then let's look at page 2. Once you get the word dream layered up and on, and you're going to cut out the little quote that says, there is another alphabet whispering from every leaf, singing from every river, shimmering from every sky. That's really pretty. So once you get the word dream on and your little flowers layered up and glued onto page 2, you're done with page 2. So now that we're done with that, let me just walk you through a little bit on the rest of the pages. Now you will have some of these strips left over to use on the last 4 pages. And it gets much easier because we've used a ton of pieces that are all out of your way right now. So you might have you'll have a few of these things left. And I'll show you where those go in just a second. So here's page 3. Simple. See, it's just a few pieces, very clean. Page 4, same thing. It matches page 3. And then we have, this will be, now keep your instructions because this will be part of a cutting diagram, okay? You'll round the corners. You'll get yourself a corner rounder, round the corners. That goes on page 5. And then a couple of these pieces that you had left over, okay, chalk up those edges, and they tuck down into that pocket. And then this is page 6, and you'll probably have 3 of these left over. You only need 2, and they tuck down in here, and then you have one of these that tucks down in here. Everything else super simple. So hang on to your instructions, and if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to email me at patsy@shopquickquotes.com. And so enjoy putting your key to life together, and we will see you at the next class. Thanks for watching.